Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, you. Happy birthday, Christopher and Brandini. Happy birthday to
Okay. Thank you.
you. Happy birthday,
job,
guys.
Thanks, Ethan.
Happy birthday, Chris and Brandon. Even
Thank
though
you.
it's be far from your birthday when this comes out. We are celebrating today because Brandon and Chris had the same birthdays the same week. April 6th, April 9th. Recording this after both those birthdays have happened.
Ethan, your birthday was also March 18th.
It was March 18th,
You
so
know,
now we're all, guess
not
what?
that far away.
We're all 23. We're all 23 now. How's it feel, guys?
Woo.
Anything different? Feeling 23?
Yeah, I've been getting hungover more. The past
You've been
week.
getting sick more, actually.
Yeah,
Brandon's
but
gone
not like
sickly ever since he's returned 23.
It's true.
not like
it's true.
It's not like sick as in like I have a cold. It's like sick as in like I'm like ill. Like I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah, that's happened twice. Both times, both when you went to the AMC Norwalk.
And
So-
when I was on my trip, but that's probably because I wasn't drinking water and I was also
Bro, gotta drink water. I'm
Fighting.
doing it right now.
Chris,
Chris, water
hydrate
check.
or dehydrate.
Hydrate.
I guess I'll choose dihydrate. I don't.
Water's important, man. You gotta drink it. Well, I'm glad to see we're all thriving in 23, except for Brandon, who's on death's door. But so we decided to use this episode for today for birthday movies. I'm not quite sure what birthday movies mean. So I'd like to see what everyone's take on what a birthday movie is. Chris, I think you're the one who really pitched it. So
Yeah.
I want to hear your explanation. What do you think a
Well-
birthday movie is?
I suggested this topic very randomly because it was on my birthday that I suggested it because we were having dinner, and it just came to mind. And I thought, okay, birthday. I feel like that's a vague enough topic that we can work with that. But then pretty quickly after I did that, I realized that birthday isn't really vague. It's actually just very specific, which is much harder to do, because not many movies really focus or revolve around a birthday. Usually, birthdays in movies are like a certain scene or something, unless you happen to find a movie that centers around it completely. So I had to kind of get a bit creative with my interpretation, but I think I got some pretty interesting picks, at least like some fun talking points. Brandon, did you have a hard time with yours, or was it pretty easy for you?
I feel like the birthday movie is like a very honestly like you could get creative with it, like something that makes you feel birthday. You know what I mean? Like I know that sounds ridiculous.
I'm feeling birthday for this.
But also something like that indicates like a certain sense of aging, whether that be like a coming of age movie or something like more along the lines of you getting older as like an individual maturing into like an adult or a senior citizen, something like that.
Yeah.
Something that evokes that aging, because that's the point of a birthday. It's an indicator.
Yes, of age. There are a lot of movies with a lot of scenes that have a birthday in them. You know?
Do they count? Yes.
I disagree. I think
What?
all of my movies here, the inciting incidents of the plot revolve around a birthday. Like, the movie couldn't happen without the birthday. You know? So, that's how I classified my birthday movies, but I'm welcome to hear why you argue that a movie is a quintessential birthday movie, even though the rest of the movie doesn't have to be about a birthday. So, without further ado,
Jason Momoa presenting sound ass.
hey, comparing me to Jason Momoa, that's a compliment. That's a compliment.
That is a compliment.
Without further ado, let's get into our birthday movies, shall we? Once a week we set a topic or theme, go our separate ways, construct our own 3-film stack. Then after a week, we come back here on the podcast and share our own stacks, 1 film at a time. Then at the end of the show, we'll mix and match our 9 films, make the ultimate decision on what quintessential 3-film stack we are checking out this hypothetical video store. Chris, you are first with your first birthday movie. Let's hear it, bro.
All right, I'm gonna pick the one that was probably the most the most obvious one for me, which was Happy Death Day, 2017 slasher film.
Yeah,
Happy Death Day.
I knew one of you two were gonna see it, but I haven't seen this movie, so tell me about it.
So Happy Death Day is this film about a girl named Teresa Geldman, aka Tree, who finds herself in a time warp where she is forced to constantly relive the day of her murder, ultimately realizing that she must identify the killer and the reason for her death before her chance for survival runs out. Yeah, it's a fun riff and twist on the slasher formula. It brings elements from a range of different genres, and it's actually a surprisingly special movie. I know when you hear like a Groundhog Day slasher, it's easy to immediately dismiss it as kind of like a cash grab gimmick, but the film does a pretty good job of keeping that mystery of the killer really behind the curtain and keep the central focus of the film behind a very charming and charismatic selection of characters. Yeah, I mean, like, it's not the most like inventive or innovative film or whatever, but it's so well made. The motivations for every character is clear. The dialogue is surprisingly sharp and very authentic. And there's a very clear chemistry between the actors, and it helps make the film so much more lively and easy to find yourself invested in it. And yeah, this was a really big surprise of a movie for me. Slashers are usually very easy to make, but the thing about this movie is that I feel like they actually nailed the harder stuff. Characters and everything really does like shine through here, and it's very simple. It's very well made. It's one of those movies where it's like I can't really complain whenever I look at it. It's a very genuine movie that's very aware of what it is, and it honors what it is, but it also isn't restrained by it. Great for casual moviegoers, but also slasher diehards alike. Yeah, you know, I thought this was a very fun and special movie. Landon made a sequel to this film, and he also made Freaky, which Brandon, I know I haven't seen yet. It's still on my watch list.
It's
on my
so
notes app.
good, bro.
I will get to it. But yeah, so this is like one of those movies that is just fun and light. And for a birthday themed episode, I thought I'd pick it because it takes place on this person's birthday, but also is kind of about like not only fighting for your life, but also fighting for your future and things like that, you know? And it's simple and easy. I like it. What do you think about it, Brandon?
I am a big fan of Christopher Landon. I think he's a very subversive director within the horror genre. I think he takes these concepts that are kind of played out, like the Groundhog Day formula, the Freaky Friday formula, and he kind of flips them on his head. He actually has a new movie coming out this year starring Anthony Mackie. It's a ghost movie, so that should be fun.
Have they announced like the twist? Because I feel like he always does twist genres. Is there like a twist on it, or is it just a ghost?
I think they're being very like closed lips about it. All I know is that it's a Netflix movie now, so they acquired it.
No.
So that's not great, but I think he did that because Freaky did not perform well in theaters due to the fact that we were in a pandemic at the time. So, yeah, I think this is a great choice. It was definitely like in contention. Like it was like the first thing that came to mind to me because it's definitely such a unique concept. It's just to put on a birthday, not necessarily like as like a film, because we've seen the Groundhog Day film before, but in terms of what it's like doing about this girl, like, and how she like mentally matures over the course because she has to relive her birthday over and over again, and she hates her birthday. I think it's really great, and to have like a birthday horror movie, who doesn't love that?
Yeah, Ethan, you
It's
haven't
true.
seen this movie, but
No, but I have seen one of the works of Landon, Christopher Landon. I have seen Freaky. I thought you watched it with us, but I guess it was just me and Brandon at home. I thought you were there.
No, it was Ben was there.
Ben. Yeah, it was,
And Flo.
That's right. No,
Ben and I
don't
look
think-
exactly alike.
that's
Don't
true.
tell
I
you.
often confuse you two.
Yeah, it's really like I'm like, oh,
That's right. Ben did.
Chris
watch
is
it
coming
with
over.
us.
He's like, Ben?
Huh? because you both live in LA now, so I just like you're both the same. I don't know.
They're in LA, so
Yeah, Chris LA. No, I did not think the trailers were good when I saw this. I don't think Landon's movies ever have good trailers, if I'm gonna be honest. But now that I've seen Freaky and I found it was good, I want to check out both. Because is the second Death Day movie good too?
It's
I wouldn't say
okay.
I don't want to say it's as fresh as the first one, but it does.
Yeah.
It does do something kind of surprising with its concept.
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
so. It's not
Yeah.
bad. It's not a bad movie. It's just like, eh.
Oh, and he did the Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. I remember seeing that. I didn't see the movie. I just remember hearing about it.
It was also okay.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't
Um.
there.
Yeah. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
I think Landon as a director is kind of hit and miss. Like certain people are gonna find like me, for example. I really love his style and stuff like that. It's very modern, but it's like not modern annoying. Like it doesn't feel like it's playing to the teen crowd just to do it. I think it like doesn't look down on them, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Yeah, that's my first pick.
yeah, I love Landon's twists on slashers and like 80s teen comedies. I think that's funny. That's a really funny thing that he does, you know? Cuz I think those were two equal I think they are held in like equal esteem in the 80s, you know? Like the big slashers and the teen comedies. Like I feel like those are targeted towards the same demographic, and now he's combining them, which I think is cool, right? It's pretty cool. I just looked up the plot to the movie that Anthony Mackie's going to be in this year. It's called We Have a Ghost. It sounds like we bought a zoo. I hope it's a twist on a ghost movie and We Bought a Zoo. I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's any twist. It's like a ghost becomes a social media like star, I guess. I don't know. Oh well. Okay, good movie. I haven't seen it, but it's a great pick, I assume. Because it really put him on the map, that movie.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going next with my first birthday movie pick. And this is the one where I have a really good feeling that this is gonna be a double stack with a certain someone here. Maybe a triple stack. I don't know. We'll see. It's a 1998 film by director Thomas Vinterberg. I'm choosing The Celebration.
Double stack.
Oh, one double stack. Okay.
I double stack. I thought Brandon would.
I thought I was gonna triple.
Would pick this movie.
I thought Brandon would pick this movie too. What?
Yeah.
Brandon
Brandon didn't pick anything.
I didn't pick it.
You didn't pick it. That was
I thought about it.
This was the one that I was most certain Brandon would pick.
Me
didn't think
too.
you would pick this one either.
You guys are gonna.
I didn't think you would pick this one.
That's why. Okay, if anyone doesn't follow me on Letterboxd, I recently watched another round because I knew I wanted to pick Celebration.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, but I'll get into all that. Ethan, why don't you tell us about Feston, aka Celebration?
You're a
Brandon's so cheeky.
so cheeky, so sneaky. I can't wait to see what his movies are. Okay. Okay, so The Celebration, it's basically one of the first films in the Dogma 95 movement, which is, if you don't know, it's like a Danish film movement that occurred in the 1990s, led by directors such as Vinterberg. And listen, its style, it's very, very hard to describe. I would say very homemade looking. Using a little budget, but also trying to be very experimental with the camera. And you see that in this movie. Vinterberg places the cameras in places you wouldn't really expect, like in the corners of rooms, like almost doing bird's eye views in some shots when people are talking, hiding behind like piece of furniture and everything like that. But listen, okay, that's not what I'm talking about. Why this is a good birthday movie. We've all been to awkward parties where, there might be a little dispute that sort of sours the mood of this party. Well, imagine going to the party for your dear old dad, and basically, your dear old dad gets exposed by one of your siblings that he used to sexually abuse you and all your siblings as kids, and that's basically what this movie is about. It's this big Danish family celebrating their dad's birthday, and one of the brothers is finally fed up, and he decides to use this occasion to deliver justice upon his father for what he used to do to his brother and sister when they were kids. And it was our first Vinterberg film when we were in college, and it left an impression on me, to say the least. It is a really gripping film. It feels very real because of the dogma sort of rules and regulations that he follows along this film that are listed in his manifesto, because it feels sort of home movie like, and it's cringy in a really good way because it feels too real, and the way they talk to each other and argue, and the way it's sort of awkwardly paced, but it's so gripping, it just leaves you completely captured to these characters and how they're thinking and feeling, that it just like it was one of the most memorable movie going experiences in our film history class, I would say. Chris, because you also picked this for a double stack, what do you think of The Celebration?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much nailed everything that I wanted to say as well. Like, I think the power of this film really comes through where like with how bizarrely relatable it is. I can't say my family's drama is quite as intense as this movie's.
Not even close with mine. Yeah.
Not even close with mine. Yeah, mine's not nearly as messed up as this. But at least, like, as far as, like, the discomfort, the tragedy, and even the absurdity of it all, it's really palpable in this movie, and you can find a lot of parallels in, like, awkward conversations you've maybe had with your dad or your uncle or whoever. There's a lot of, like, the intricacies of family politics really shines through here, and I think Vinterberg does a really good job of kind of honing into that and giving the audience that kind of gauge and ability to kind of seek like almost like catharsis in a weird way for like the audience's own like familial like issues or what have you. I remember when I first saw this movie, I wasn't as nearly as warm to it as you guys were. I think it was like I was very much caught up in my freshman year, like whatnot, about like not knowing how to really like engage with movies the way that I do now, which isn't like but anyway, yeah, like for example, like the frenetic camera work that you talked about earlier, Ethan, didn't quite work for me the first time I saw this, but thinking about it at least right now outside of the movie itself, it's a very appropriate choice for this film. And I'm really curious to see how this movie holds up on a rewatch for me, because I actually really liked Another Round, and I wonder if like that dark comedy kind of thing is gonna work really well for this. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think this movie is really special. I don't think movies like this get made often, if ever anymore, especially. But yeah, it's a cool movie. Yeah, thumbs up. Brandon, you really like this movie.
I really like this movie, and you didn't pick it. What is your problem? What did you do? What is wrong with you?
I just wanted to be more creative with my picks, in terms of like, because like when I was first going over movies, the first two that I thought of were Happy Death Day and The Celebration.
Contraire.
I know.
Too basic
for Brandon. Think differently. Why don't you?
And
I thought go on, yeah.
I thought I could like branch out a little bit because I knew it would be maybe a slighter episode. And The Celebration's great because it does depict this like sort of death and rebirth of this family relationship, and it's very disturbing, and which is not something you often see on birthdays, but birthdays can be dysfunctional as family get-togethers as any holiday. So to see
Yeah.
that depicted on screen is something like really interesting. But as much as like the birthday is like, okay, it is the focus of the film, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's just a vehicle to get all the people in this place together. You know what I mean? It's more so
Yeah.
about unveiling the secrets and like ruining the father's reputation for good. And it's a great film. I love the script in this movie. I love the Dogma 95 style. I have this movie on Criterion. Vinterberg's one of my favorite favorite directors working right now. I love The Hunt. I really like The Celebration. I love Another Round. Like, all these movies are really good. So yeah, I thought about it, but it didn't crack my top 3.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Alrighty.
Why don't you tell us what did crack your top 3?
Of course, yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna piss off Ethan right now. Right on early. Let's pick a 2021 film.
Huh?
Tick Tick Boom.
Oh. I haven't seen this movie, but all right. I love Andrew.
It's a really good movie, Ethan, and I wish you would just like give it a chance.
I did. I watched it. What?
Okay.
Hey, Ethan's got good editing.
It's got
great editing. Yeah, it's
got
very.
good editing.
Here's the
and one good song.
Okay, no, they're pretty much all good. So just back up there, buddy. Anyway, the reason why this is a birthday movie, and Chris, I'm probably going to be revealing a bit of information since you haven't seen the movie. It follows.
But it's like it's a biopic.
Larson. Shut up. Okay.
Don't interrupt me. I'm talking.
Don't interrupt me. I didn't interrupt you during yours. Okay. Jonathan Larson, who's basically this playwright and musical writer. He wrote Tick Tick Boom, which didn't go to Broadway, and Rent, which did. And this guy's a tragic artist because he died very young from a health condition. And in the film, the most of the plot takes place during 1990, a week before he turns 30. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to his struggle as an artist, especially millennials and people who are also Gen Z, because as you are starting to like go up in age and get older, there's this fear that there's a point where you're not going to be able to make it because you're not young enough to like make a break in the industry. And that's Jonathan Larson's fear. So the whole movie plays like a ticking clock, which is why his musical that he made as a result of this movie was Tick Tick Boom, because it's like it's tick tick, the clock is ticking, and then like the explosion is him turning 30, and it represents his crisis of not necessarily faith, but of identity as he heads into his 30s. And I found it to be a profound film in that regard, because it does follow that aging thing. And it's like when you get to be like a certain age, you do feel like you're like running out of time. It doesn't feel like you've got all this time ahead of you anymore. And it's a terrific film, great musical numbers, a great performance from Andrew Garfield, great editing. I really like the movie. It is a very showy movie, very theater. And if you're not into theater, like somebody like Ethan, you're not going to like the movie as much.
Yeah.
So,
like, why tell me to give it a chance when you know I'm not? Okay. Yeah.
Give theater a chance.
I have. I worked in stage crew in theater. I've been well versed in theater. And it annoys the ever-living shit out of me when it's not my friends in the play. I just want to make that clear. Okay.
Okay.
I love watching my friends perform and act. And I love serious plays. But I don't like when I'm watching strangers be corny and gross and doing musicals. I'm sorry. Yeah, very Broadway, like you said. And I'll say this, it's a very good way to honor a man's life, you know, who found musical theater so important to him, you know. I just find it very painful to watch and and just stupid because I hate Broadway musical theater. And I think the ending is neat, because how it tackles the AIDS crisis. I think it handles that very well, and it's very emotional, which is the one part of the movie I like. But everything else I pretty much hated. I think Andrew Garfield is fine. I think he overacts a little bit too much. I think the rest of the cast, they are pretty over the top and flamboyant. And the songs are just horrendous, except for one. They're absolutely horrendous. And it was nails on a chalkboard for me just listening to them. Worse than Encanto songs. So that's all I gotta say.
Disagree.
Chris, what have you?
That's insulting.
No, it's true. It's so true. I feel bad cause you feel
You
bad.
feel bad about me feeling.
He knows the songs and he hasn't seen the movie.
Yeah.
What?
So you must be a true fan. Chris, what do you think about this movie even though you haven't seen it?
I've seen a couple of clips. I've heard a couple of the songs. And yeah, it seems I'm so uncertain about whether or not I'm gonna like this movie. It's kind of like the same way I feel about Don't Look Up, because I'm so which has been a major reason for why I have not watched those movies yet, because I'm scared to engage with that discourse. But
I think you're gonna like it.
Be
I
part
think,
of
I think
it.
I will
Chris.
eat up. I think I will eat up Tick Tick Boom. I don't think I'm gonna eat up Don't Look Up.
No.
Sorry, Michael.
Sorry,
anyway,
Michael.
Sorry, Michael. I love you. Can I have a job? Anyway, yeah. I've heard really great things from some people about Tick Tick Boom, but I haven't heard the best from others as well. There are some people who are really critical about this movie, but there's also people who absolutely adore it. So it's a big coin toss for me, because a lot of the time it's like I'll find myself aligning with okay, I often agree with these people about movies, so maybe this will. But it's so like Ethan hates it. Brandon, do you like this movie a lot?
He loves it.
I really liked it. I really like this movie.
Okay.
It's
So,
on the
I
edge of a
usually
4.5.
align with you guys, but yeah, for example, Tori hated it, but Joey was cool with it, was largely cool with it. So it's kind of it's all up in the air. But anyways, yeah, I've heard good things and bad things, so I am gonna get to this movie eventually, because I honestly do really like Andrew Garfield as an actor, and yeah, I just got to get to it eventually. So yeah.
Yep. That's what you just gotta do. All right, we're in the second round here. Chris, you've already told us your second pick, which is The Celebration.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go into my second pick, which revolves around a birthday present. One of the most fundamental things about a birthday is receiving a birthday present. And let's just say this birthday present is not what every kid wants, and that's a serial killer possessed in a doll's body.
I had a feeling someone would pick this.
I picked Tom Holland, Spider-Man himself. He directed this movie in 1988. No, director Tom Holland, 1988, Child's Play. So that might be shocking. Look, Ethan's choosing a slasher movie. What the fuck? That's weird, right? Yeah, it is kind of weird. But I don't remember when. I think it was 2 years ago. I was like, I want to watch at least the first installment of all the big slasher franchises, just to see what's going on in in this subgenre. And this is one of the ones that sort of surprised me the most, even though I'm not a fan of the big slasher genres. I had a lot of fun with this movie. Mainly because I thought Chucky himself was a very entertaining main protagonist, I think the movie gets a little bit slow before Chucky gets into the doll, but once he's out on the loose, this movie is just a blast, you don't think this, you think that, I don't know, I've never been afraid of the Chucky character before seeing this movie, even though he is a horror icon. But there is a lot of imagery in this film, that honestly was kind of creepy and pretty scary. But hey, I enjoyed this one. It has very fun kills, I think. Very interesting kills, very interesting gore, And it's also pretty funny because I think Chucky is a very funny character and just entertaining film overall. So that's why I picked Child's Play. What do you guys think? Child's Play. Chris, what do you think?
So I
Chris is
I
raising
was
his
so
hand like it's
excited.
class. Hey,
I'm
me,
so
pick me.
excited for this. Pick me,
Yeah.
pick me. I'm so excited. But
What?
okay, I have the weirdest relationship with these movies. So as a kid, there were very few things that particularly scared me. And the big ones were Ghostface and Chucky. I don't
Yeah.
know what it was, but here's the weird thing about those two things. The reason I'm scared of Ghostface and Chucky wasn't because I saw Scream and Child's Play. It's because I saw Scary Movie and Seed of Chucky, which are both comedy like spoof films.
Yeah.
But for some reason they both got me. Anyway, I'll explain all that in a minute. Child's Play for me was a really really scary movie when I was little. I eventually saw it after having seen Seed of Chucky, and I was terrified of Seed of Chucky already. And okay, wait, real quick. If anyone doesn't know, Ethan, how much do you know about the Chucky franchise?
I
Like,
know.
like, its pathway.
I know. There's like a girl Chucky that shows up, and I
Okay.
think they fuck, and I think there's like a kid Chucky. I don't know.
Okay.
That's all I know.
So the way it goes is there's the original trilogy of Chucky films, which are straight horror films. So there's 3 right there, and then
Yeah.
there are 2 comedy films called Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky. In those movies, Chucky has a wife and then has a kid, and they're both really horribly made comedy movies. But they're like kind of meta in a weird way. And then eventually they make a soft reboot called Curse of Chucky, and then a direct-to-TV movie called Cult of Chucky, and now there is a Chucky TV show in development. Anyway, so these movies have had a really weird history in Hollywood. Chucky to this day is still a pretty significant horror icon, even though I think his status has definitely gone down because
Yeah.
not many people are really talking about Chucky. But this first movie is actually really good. I think they do such a great job with just like playing into the absurdity of it, but also like the terror of it. Because I mean, I think the most horrifying thing about this is Chucky as a doll is so intimately close with this kid. Like
Yeah.
they sleep next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fucking terrifying to know that there's a serial killer in there that's alive. And yeah, they do a great job with honing into that. It's a lot of fun, but also really scary. I think they do it. I think and like it's one of those movies that I think like doesn't take itself too seriously, but seriously enough that you're invested and like not like just laughing at it the entire time. Yeah, I think this movie's really good. I hope that one day Chucky can make a big return and really like do something great, because I think there's a lot you can do with this, but unfortunately it just hasn't been that way. But yeah, okay, I approve of this pick.
There was that
Brandon, are you a
reboot.
top-
Sorry, there's that reboot. Speaking of, has anyone seen that before Brandon speaks of it?
The movie?
The Child's Play with Mark Hamill was Chucky.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah. Then that was a dud.
Yeah,
And then
wasn't good.
and then there was
Okay.
Cult of Chucky, which brought in 3 Chuckies from the 3 different timelines, quote unquote.
Oh, really?
And then it's a weird thing. I don't even
Okay.
want to get into it.
Wow.
And yeah,
But yeah.
and then there's now a TV show, and no one knows what the fuck that's about.
But it's
Oh,
apparently
crazy.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah?
But Brandon, what
Yeah.
did you think?
Chucky, not a big fan. As far as slasher movies goes, it's pretty mid, in my opinion. I've only seen the first one in the remake, so I don't know much about the lore of Chucky. Other than I know the tonal shifts that I went through are very similar to that of like Wes Craven movies. Like they became meta and more intelligent or dumb, depending on how you look at meta humor, and certainly more raunchy. I don't know. Chucky always freaked me out when I was a kid. As far as a birthday movie, of course this works. But I don't remember if was it a birthday gift. or was it like just something that the mom got because she worked at her job? Was it a birthday
this
gift?
movie?
Yeah.
It's a birthday gift.
Feel-
I looked it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I like it. The kills are like all right. The movie itself is there's not really much to say. Like I feel like out of all the slashers, like there isn't a lot to say about the Chucky movies, especially that first Child's Play, because it's like it's basically like a he said she said sort of thing. Like, oh, my doll's alive and it's gonna
good
kill
gaslight
me.
movie, by the
Yeah,
way.
it's pretty good gaslighting movie because the doll is gaslighting the whole time. Birthday, I don't know, not quintessential, but definitely good for a gift to give.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you know I think we've all had those moments where we get a gift and it's not what we wanted. Even though the kid really likes Chucky in this movie, I think this elevates the fear of getting a gift that we didn't really like when we were a kid. You know, one time I got socks for Christmas when I was like 6 years old. Like I went to a party and like Santa gave out gifts and he gave everyone toys and he gave me socks and I was so mad.
But now as an adult, you want socks.
And now as an adult, I'm like, fuck.
amazing.
I'm like, fuck. I have no socks. Give me that shit now. Like I keep going through my socks in the laundry bin. Give me more socks,
Yeah.
please. Come on, bro. But as a kid, I was like, no. But yeah, I just thought this was a fun birthday one. Yeah, Child's Play. All right, Brandon, what's your second movie?
All right, I'm picking a romantic comedy. It's a fantasy film from 2004. I'm picking 13 Going on 30.
Oh, I saw that. This was a movie. It's a classic. I saw that.
It is a classic.
I've heard of this.
I've heard that this is a movie. I haven't seen it. I know. I saw it was a birthday movie.
Okay.
So tell us about 13 Going on 30.
It's a Mark Ruffalo, Jennifer Garner vehicle where Jennifer Garner invites these really popular girls to her 13th birthday party. So it's not Jennifer Garner yet, but you know, it's her 13-year-old self, and then her next door neighbor or one of her best friends who happens to be a guy gives her a gift that she's always wanted, and he's always sort of had a crush on her, but because you know at that age it's like you can get teased for that, like she is teased for that, and they play the game at her birthday, 7 Minutes in Heaven, which is you go into a closet and you kiss for 7 minutes, essentially. So the two get to go in the closet together, and then everything fades to black, and she wakes up, and her 13-year-old self is in her 30-year-old body after she's embarrassed at her birthday party. And so it's as much about her finding like her inner child in like her future self, as well as like what makes her happy versus like how her adult self is when she is 30, because like she finds out that like it's kind of like Click in the sense that like she's like sort of autopiloted through her life and used her like cold exterior that she's been getting for being bullied into like developing her ultimate self, but she's not truly happy, and she kind of finds her happiness through this little journey to the future. And I love these types of movies where characters are either knocked unconscious or like magically get transported into their future without the context of the years in between, because you kind of get a sense for like how these people are coming to terms with like aging,
Right.
in a very quick amount of time. Like they're not like it's kind of like Big in that sense, you know, where like he has to grapple with the fact that now he's an adult male overnight when you never got to be a kid. So yeah,
It's like reverse 17 again. You know what I mean?
yeah, but it came out
Yeah,
before 17 again.
I thought that this movie was like Big, where I thought she turned 30 like for her 13th birthday, and like I didn't know she like went to I didn't know her mind went to the future.
Yeah,
You know,
it did.
It's sort of like the opposite of X-Men: Days of Future Past.
Just use other movies to explain why my movie's good.
Well, we haven't seen this movie. It's kind of like the Senior, the trailer I just watched. The Rebel Wilson
Senior year.
40-year-old. I thought it was gonna be like the Senior Year movie. but I guess it's not. I don't know. I've heard this is a classic.
It
It's
is.
funny.
It's very good. Yeah,
Good.
it's funny. It's heartfelt. I feel like they sort of nail the like childlike sensibility somebody would have if they were in their like future body. Like, what would they like? What would they act like? What would their thoughts be like? But it's
Yeah.
also really wholesome, and it kind of understands like the importance of being a teenager. So, Mhm.
Alrighty. Well, that sounds pretty good. I want to check it out. I really do. So 13 going on 30. Alrighty. Well, let's go into this final round, shall we? Chris, what's your last birthday movie?
All right. I am beyond amazed when I went on Letterboxd and noticed that neither of you have seen this movie, unless you guys might have missed it because it's a pretty like random movie. Oh God. Okay. You guys ever heard of this 2011 movie directed by Andrew Niccol, In Time?
oh yeah, I have heard of that.
I've seen the trailers for it. I remember seeing the trailers for it, and I was like, I am not gonna go see that movie. But tell me about the movie In Time.
I do not blame you. Okay, In Time takes place in the not too distant future where, following an overpopulation crisis, science has created a rather unethical solution. The quote unquote, and I'm not even kidding, the aging gene has been switched off in human biology, and time has become a currency used to pay for luxuries and necessities. So in layman's terms, once you hit the age of 25, aging completely stops, and a 1 year countdown begins from there. Acquiring time is essential to survival. That is how you get paid. That's how people get, like, when you go to work, you get paid for in time. Paid in time. In time. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, the rich,
Yeah, I
and
see.
therefore in this movie, the rich can live forever, and the poor are forced to negotiate, work, and steal to even make it by for a few days. Like, there are people who have like thousands of years in their life, and others who like literally quite literally live day by day. So this movie stars Justin Timberlake, Amanda Seyfried, Cillian Murphy, and Olivia Wilde. This movie really could have been something quite special. The idea of framing this kind, because this movie is a very anti-capitalist, anarchist like film set in this kind of dystopian sci-fi future. And I mean, that sounds really cool. I think you can really do something special with that. And I like the idea of like turning time into currency. You know, 'cause
Yeah.
time is money, literally. You know, that's an interesting concept. But unfortunately, this movie feels like a really good example of the whole great concept, bad execution idea. I like because the problem that this movie has is it doesn't give a shit about the characters at all. The only highlight of this movie is the world that it's created, and even then, it's very drab and dull. And I know I'm not doing a good job of selling it, but I really want to bring this up for conversation point because I mean, and yeah, obviously I picked this movie In Time because it's about aging and like money and all that stuff and how that plays into a birthday. I don't know, like, yeah. One thing I will mention about this movie though is that this movie is weirdly foundational for contemporary cinematography in the early 2010s. The reason for that is because this was right as the industry embraced digital as an industry standard format, because up like in the 2000s, like they were still kind of testing, seeing what they like, seeing what works, what didn't work. But this was one of the first movies in the 2010s that really cemented digital cameras as a viable option for shooting films. By the way, this movie was shot by the great Roger Deakins.
Really?
And he claims this to be the film that made him decide that digital is a viable option. And Deakins is also often credited as the cinematographer that made digital filmmaking viable for young cinematographers and everything like that. So this movie has a weird history in the world of film just for that. But beyond that, this movie's not all that great. But I wanted to shout it out just because we're never going to fucking talk about this movie again. Unless we do a great concept, bad execution stack. That could be an interesting stack.
Oh, there you go.
Or we can do a bad concept, great execution.
That could be any movie though. Like this movie could have sucked, but it wasn't.
But it did,
But-
and it did.
And it did.
But yeah, anyway, that's my last movie in time. I know you guys haven't seen it, but do you guys have anything you want to throw in there about this movie?
I've always been interested to watch this movie because
Yeah.
the concept
Lower
is
your
so.
expectations, man. It is so dull.
I just want to see people like fight over time. You know,
Yeah.
Be like,
I'm
hey,
just like I'm really
I
excited.
want
to see
I want
this
more
movie.
time.
There's this one scene that cracks me up all the time where the characters are like there's a bunch of people lined up at like a coffee shop, like wanting to buy their coffee. And then right as this guy walks up to the counter, the price switches from 5 minutes to 7 minutes for coffee. And he's like, oh man, I ain't got 7 minutes to spare.
What?
It's kind of
Um,
good.
Yeah, I have not seen this movie. I remember seeing the trailers on the kids and thought it was kind of stupid. Andrew Niccol, I think he can sometimes be an overrated director. I'm not really as big as a fan of Gattaca as most people are. I know that movie sort of praised for being a very good dystopian future film, but I wasn't impressed with it, to be honest. I've seen it twice. Wasn't impressed both times. But you know, this movie sounds fucking awesome, Chris, and I'm going in with high expectations now.
Oh great. Oh great.
oh, goody goody.
Justin Timberlake delivers his greatest performance since Trolls.
Since Trolls World Tour. Damn. All right. Well, guess what? I guess we're gonna continue following the pattern of movies that you don't think are that great, but they're good birthday movies. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready for this film that I'm about to pick?
No.
This might come as a huge shock for you too, because
Oh no.
you know that I don't really like this that very much. I'm choosing a 2001 film. I'm choosing Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone as my last
What the
birthday movie.
What the
What?
fuck? Yeah.
Why?
I never thought I'd hear those words come out. of
Yeah,
your
I
mouth.
know. I'm choosing Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone as my last birthday movie. I do not
sure?
like this movie at all. I give it 2 stars. But
You're heartless.
I'm heartless. But it's a pretty good birthday movie. You know why? Because what most people get from Hogwarts about like imagine when you turn the certain age and then you get to go it unlocks this magical world for you. You know? That I love that as a concept of like getting this new responsibility to go and not like something like just driving. You get to open yourself to this whole new world. To me, that was more like Pokemon for me because in Pokemon lore, when you turn 10 years old, you get to become a Pokemon trainer and go out and become a trainer, you know? So for me, that was my thing when I turned 10 years old. I think, is it 10 years old you go to Hogwarts? What's the age?
11.
11? Oh, sorry.
I think it's 11. 11.
11?
Something like that. Whenever you start 7th grade.
Whenever you start 7th grade. Let's see. I started 7th grade in 2012. So I think... No. I started 7th grade in 2011. So I think it's 12.
Yeah.
Because I know I ended my 7th grade year seeing the Avengers, and that was in 2012. So I don't know. Anyways,
yeah.
let's see. What can I say about Harry Potter? Oh, okay. I'll say one more thing to make the movie. So I hate this movie, but one way to make this more enjoyable is look up this audio commentary called Dear Reader. It's what you play. You put the movie on silent and you play Dear Reader over Harry Potter, and it works like this dude who basically it plays over the movie, so it syncs up scene to scene. But it's him basically doing a fake audiobook for Harry Potter, and he just tells the funniest jokes, and he gets all the characters' names wrong, and like I can't even describe to you, but he talks the whole movie like this. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Haggard said to Harry, "Shut the fuck up, you little bitch. Come with me to Hogwarts," and stuff like that. And like, I've seen this movie twice doing the Dear Reader commentary, and it is fucking amazing. And I highly suggest the next time you watch Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, you watch it with the Dear Reader commentary. This movie, yeah, not good. I don't think the performances are good. The visual effects are awful for a 2001 film. If you rewatch it, it looks like the Harry Potter like PlayStation 1 game, especially when they're playing Quidditch. And that troll, I used to be so scared of that troll. Justin Timberlake. No, not that troll. No, there's like a troll in the bathroom. He looks awful now. It's a big troll face. No, but yeah, I chose this movie. What?
Nothing.
Chris, what do you think? You love Harry Potter.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So yeah, I went to Hogwarts growing up. No, I'm kidding.
You did.
So yeah, this movie, like, how do I put this? Like, I think this is my favorite of the Harry Potter movies that, like, before they got all emo. This is very magical to me. I remember watching it when I was little and being really enchanted by it. I like how like sweet and simple this movie is, because a lot of the time when I'm watching this movie, especially, my focus isn't so much on like Voldemort or any of the conflict. I'm completely enthralled by the world, by the wizarding world. You know, Diagon Alley, Hogwarts, and just like Hogsmeade and everything. Like, it's a movie. It's one of those movies for me that really does a great job of bringing me into the world of it. Mm-hmm. And for me, like, especially when I'm watching like a fantasy or a sci-fi or whatever, that's a big component in what makes that movie work for me. And a lot of my favorite movies that are genre films are ones that do a really good job of doing that. Like, for example, I can watch like Harry, Ron, and Hermione just wander the halls of Hogwarts for hours and just like going to class and just doing shit. Like, yeah. I don't know. I'm just really enchanted by this movie. I can agree, Ethan, with like a lot of your critiques about like, you know, like just like the kind of meh-ness about like the actual plot of this film. But for me, it's all kind of overwhelmed by how much I enjoy the kind of world that this movie you know, has crafted, that I can kind of overlook that. So yeah, I think this is a really fun movie. I really enjoy watching this movie. Now that we're talking about it, there's a small chance I might rewatch this later, because like now thinking about it, I might have some dinner and watch. That sounds really nice. Also, by the way, the original title for this movie is
the Philosopher's Stone, but that's too sophisticated and British for us.
Too sophisticated for you Americans.
Sorcerers. Sorcerers are cool.
Brandon, you like Harry Potter? What do you think about this one, though?
It's one of the weaker It's like a mid Harry Potter movie. Like, I feel like it is more mid. It's so whimsical, though. I do think it does capitalize on the birthday archetype or whatever.
The birthday
better.
You know, every year I go through a certain birthday archetype.
An archetype film, you know.
Brandon's like, I'm in my birthday arc right now. I'm in my birthday era. Every first week of April is my birthday era.
Shut up, please.
please stop talking.
Stop talking. Okay. It's just, you know, birthday movie. Sorry, you threw me off. It's like that archetypal film type of magic about coming of age, and I do think it is about aging, because it's like more so than any of the other ones, which just feel like back to school adventure movies. This feels more so like this is like a discovery of a new world, and sometimes when you turn 12 or 13, that is like a discovery you make. So yeah, good.
Yeah,
very cool. Yeah,
that
might be one of the most surprising picks out of you, Ethan.
Yeah. Out of your face.
Out of pocket than my I don't know, my many terrible picks, like Triumph of the Will. I don't know.
For party movies.
Political party. Tell me I'm wrong.
It's a political. There's like a million other political party movies, Chris. You could have chosen.
But I had to pick. I had to pick.
And you haven't even seen Triumph of the Will.
That's the point. That's why, Ethan. I am the wild card. You never know what's gonna come out of his mouth.
And that's why you make this show magic, Chris. All right, Brandon.
Yeah.
What is your last birthday movie?
My last birthday movie is a Tarkovsky movie from 1986 called The Sacrifice.
Is this really a birthday movie?
Alexander,
is it really?
Yes, it is. Alexander, a journalist, philosopher, and retired actor, celebrates a birthday with friends and family when it is announced that a nuclear war has begun. That is the plot of the movie.
Okay, so it starts at his birthday.
Yes, it basically is about him like coming to terms with the fact that he is a middle-aged man and he's not going to live any longer, and he may not live as long as the rest of the day because of this nuclear war that started. And it's a fantastic movie. It's my favorite Tarkovsky that I've seen, which is weird because it's often lauded as the worst Tarkovsky, which is still not saying much because like most people would like rate higher, like 3.5 or 4 for his like lowest rated movie, but for me this is a 5 out of 5. And the reason why I love this film is it is comprised of a bunch of long takes that basically examine the people at this birthday party going through it as they learn the information that they're learning, and also this guy like being like learning to be more selfless as the film goes on, because at the beginning of the film you can kind of tell he's a little more full of himself. Like the birthday is all about you, right? But what happens if something big and massive were to happen to distract from that? This guy has to learn his like selflessness and like the situation and how he should like live his life, however long that may be, for the rest of time. And I think it's a very beautiful and like hopeful movie in the eyes of something so devastating as like nuclear war.
In the eyes of the Lord. Yeah. In
the eyes of the Lord. And it is a very religious experience, I think. Religion without like being super preachy, because it's not like Tarkovsky's like super religious filmmaker. It's just like it deals with one's faith and grappling with one's demise, which I really enjoy. And it does play upon his birthday quite a bit. So you might think, hey, it takes place on his birthday, but I think it has more to do with it than you think.
I think this from what I've heard, I think this works good as a birthday movie, and it sounds pretty good. Like that is really such an intriguing concept of it sounds a bit like Miracle Mile, but not as hectic. See, it seems a bit more contemplative, which I think really interests me, of just like coming to terms with your last days, and this planet's last days, I would say, you know? Fuck, man, I want to get into Tarkovsky so bad. I'm just like, I'm too intimidated, you know? I'm way too intimidated. I just need, I need a day, because they're so long, and like, I don't know. I'm scared I'll be bored by them. I don't know. I want to watch.
It's okay to be bored. Didn't you learn anything from our class about boredom?
I know.
I think like for me, like I have never seen a Tarkovsky movie before. Because I think one of the things for me as well, like kind of like Ethan, like I'm intimidated by the runtime and knowing how heavy his movies are. And another thing is like it's like I can only take so much existential cinema in my life before I start to go crazy. Like I only recently watched Persona for the first time. That threw me for a loop, because I remember after that movie, I was sitting at my desk, the movie ended, and then I was thinking about it and everything, and then I was like, oh my god, like we're all like fabrications, and like, you know, like who is who and who am I? And I look in the mirror and I'm like, who am I? Like like movies like these like throw me for such a loop, because it really, like, existentialism really gets to me. And I've only heard like Tarkovsky is a master at existentialism. I mean, I only recently having only recently watched Persona. Like, I only recently popped my Bergman cherry, and I bet Tarkovsky is at a whole other level. I also like. By the way, weird fact about me. For the longest time, I thought Stalker and Come and See were the same movie because their posters look kind of similar.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I thought the exact same thing too. Don't worry.
I didn't know there were two movies, but okay, great. Two more existentialist pieces for me to freak out about.
Yay.
Yeah, so I will get to this eventually. I know I will. It's just the willpower and the emotional state I need to be in. I will get there eventually. But Brandon, I think this is a pretty inspired pick. I know it is about a birthday, and I just never thought I'd hear a Tarkovsky movie get brought up during a birthday movie stack.
I mean, more so because a lot of these movies that I've chosen are like the birthday is the inciting event, and it thematically has to do with it, but the birthday is not always the point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because with Happy Death Day, it takes place on the birthday, and it's like about the birthday, but all these other ones are like more thematically, I think, tied. You know, but that's just me. That's why I wanted to choose those personally.
Well, I like it.
Maybe out of the box. I don't know.
I think you looked in the box quite well. You looked at you analyzed the inside of the box, and you found some very specific, nice films, Brandon. You know.
Thank you, Dad.
You're welcome, son. All right, let's run down our films before picking out this final stack. Chris, you want to start us with your 3 films?
Yep. My films were Happy Death Day, The Celebration, and In Time.
Brandon? Oh, no, me. Sorry, not you. Fuck you. Mine are The Celebration, Child's Play, and Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Or the Sorcerer's Stone, whatever you want. All right, Brandon, now what are your films?
Mine are 13 going on 30, Tick Tick Boom, and The Sacrifice.
Out of order.
You deserve that. You deserve that.
I deserve that because I messed up. I messed up the ordering, so I allow you to mess up the ordering too. Okay.
Exactly.
So The Celebration is a lock. That's a lock in there.
I would love to either have 13 going on 30 or Sacrifice, because Brandon sold those both really well.
I think The Sacrifice is a lot, especially paired with The Celebration, because The Celebration is kind of dark. Mm-hmm. And The Sacrifice, although it's like a little more optimistic in tone than a lot of Tarkovsky's other work, I don't know how I feel about it being placed with The Celebration. So 13 going on 30 might be the move just because it's just so drastically different from that one.
Why not both? Why not both? I would like both.
I'm not.
Ethan, do you have a movie in your thing that you really want to get into?
I really wanted The Celebration.
Celebration already.
That's the one I wanted the most.
I'm satisfied with Celebrate, because In Time was just kind of like I wanted to throw that out there, and Happy Death Day is like it's the most basic one, but I just had to mention it. Yeah. But Celebration is the big one that I was like, okay, I would want to fight for this one.
That's the one I like.
I'm just not used to having people clamoring for 2 of my films, especially when they haven't been seen.
Well, hey, buddy, you sold them well. You gotta give yourself some credit, Brandon. You're really good at the show.
When we announce these movies for our stack, Ethan, I want you to be the one to pitch Sacrifice. Try. Go for
it. Okay. I'll do it. I'll do it.
I'm happy with it, Brandon, if you're cool with it.
Brandon,
I'm cool with it. I'm not upset with by 2 of my choices being picked. I just think
should we just make
what's the order?
I think 13 going on 30 because it's the lightest, and then Feston because it gets crazy, and then just get really depressed for Sacrifice.
And then a little hopeful at the end because it's not like the most desolate ending. It's pretty heavy, but I wouldn't say it's the saddest thing in the world. Sure, I guess.
Yeah.
So what a choice.
Or should we do the opposite where it just gets better?
No.
It gets happier.
I want to lead. If we start out with The Sacrifice, people may not want to finish the marathon.
That's
sometimes
true.
forget that we are pitching these as a 3-movie marathon.
As to watch
Yeah.
at the same time. Yeah.
What
Such
has
a
been our
inspired
most dumb stack that we've made?
Gaslighting
Um,
movies.
Our Gaslight movies is pretty frustrating.
Gaslighting is pretty fun because we watch Cody 2012 in it. We make you watch Cody 2012.
I got that at my local Blockbuster.
Yeah.
I made them rip it from
YouTube on
YouTube.
DVD. Yeah. All right. Let's run down the stack. Brand, you want to start us off?
Yeah, our first film is 13 Going on 30. Very lighthearted romp about figuring yourself out, coming of age on your 13th birthday and in your teens, as well as your late 20s and early 30s. Great
Yeah.
movie.
Great movie. Chris, what's our second film?
Our next movie is Feston, aka The Celebration, directed by Thomas Vinterberg. A movie about a grand family gathering gone horribly wrong and in a twisted dissection of family politics and trauma and all this stuff. But it's also still a dark comedy. Yeah, good movie. Check it out.
And our last film is Andrei Tarkovsky's The Sacrifice. One of my all-time personal favorites, actually. Well, this movie, Alexander, a journalist, philosopher, and retired actor, celebrates a birthday with friends and family when it's announced that a nuclear war has begun. And the movie's about his birthday, and his family and friends, and a nuclear war that has begun during his birthday with family and friends. And it's
During a nuclear war.
During nuclear war, and a house
With
burns.
family and friends.
A house burns down on it. It looks like there's a lot of puddles and mud everywhere in the movie, which is always nice.
On a birthday.
On a
With
birthday.
family and friends.
With family and friends
During a nuclear war.
and a nuclear war begins. So that's The Sacrifice. I love this movie, and I'm so glad it's on the stack. Well, and that's the stack, everybody. Thank you all for listening for this very fun episode about birthday movies. Let us know, what's your favorite birthday movie, and if today was your birthday, and if you could watch any movie you wanted, what movie would you watch right now? If today was your birthday, Chris, even though it was on the 9th, 2 days ago.
I know. Okay. I honestly thought about watching this because it's one of those movies that I knew I wanted to rewatch, and I figured that birthday would be good. You're gonna judge me for this, but I really wanted to rewatch Soul.
Soul? No, that's good.
Like I need.
It's a movie about life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's probably, how about you guys?
Yeah.
What would you guys
Brandon,
pick
what about
if
you?
you were to watch a movie on your birthday?
What would I
Like,
watch?
what's a movie that would be appropriate for you to watch or rewatch on your birthday?
My favorite movie, of course, Back to the Future.
Back to the Future?
That is that is also a movie kind of about life. Like, take life slow, but also
Boyhood.
go forward, man.
Boyhood?
Boyhood. Or Curious Case of Benjamin Button, both of which I considered for this list.
Oh, I want to throw in some honorable mentions. The Game.
Me too. I have one. Yes,
The Game.
I wanted to
Game.
mention The Game.
I wanted to mention The Game so bad. There's another one that I forgot. Hold on.
I have one.
Yeah, go for
we
it.
already picked this for our final stack for vegan movies. I wanted to pick Avatar. You know why? Because
Why?
not only is it about a celebration of life, but the final line in this movie is, "It's my birthday after all." Is
Is it really?
Avatar 2. Yeah, it
that's
is.
the final line of the movie.
What the fuck?
And then there's 16 Candles and Fruitvale Station.
Oh, more honorable mentions. Knives Out. I was gonna almost pick Knives Out.
Oh, that's a
His
good
birthday
one.
movie?
Walter
Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. The inciting incident of that is Bilbo Baggins' birthday.
That's true.
Toy Story. Andy
Yeah.
gets buzzed
Andy's
for his
birthday.
birthday. Let's see, what else was I gonna pick? 2001: A Space Odyssey is a birthday movie because it's his birthday. Remember? Parasite. I don't think that's a birthday movie, but it's got a good birthday scene. You know? It says Rocky IV has a good birthday scene. with Polly gets a robot for his birthday. It says happy birthday,
Stupid
Polly.
robot. Deserves to
Stallone
die.
hates the robot, but I love the robot.
I hate the robot too.
Back you. Oh, never mind. Apparently The Jerk is a birthday party. Is a birthday movie.
The birthday
But
party? It's a
It's
birthday
a birthday
party.
It's a birthday party. No, it's a birthday movie. But I haven't seen The Jerk in such a long time that I didn't want to talk about it, even though I remember thinking that movie was really funny when I watched it. For me, if I want to watch a movie for my birthday, I'd probably want to watch maybe the Cowboy Bebop movie or End of Evangelion. Those are always good. Or The Big Lebowski. But The Big Lebowski is a movie you can just always watch, you know? And it's always a good time. Unless you're Brandon. Unless you're Brandon, because you won't look. You refuse to look at the screen, and you just talk during the whole movie. Just kidding. All right, that will do it for this episode of Stacked, everybody. Thank you all so much for listening. Make sure to rate us on iTunes, Spotify, fucking YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, fucking follow Twitter. Make sure you're following us on Instagram. I heard there's lots of developments happening on our Instagram page, so make sure to stay tuned there.
Stop that.
Sorry for the roast. Make sure to follow us on Facebook. Oh yeah, it's your birthday episode.
There you go.
No,
You
we're
can't
fucking.
just call me out like that.
We're 5 days too late. Should have had this episode 5 days earlier. Then, fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. And yeah, I hope everyone who's listening has a good birthday this year. No matter what it is.
Ethan, you're smiling. Just shut the fuck up.
Okay.